Somebody said, oh, we could call it Homegrown. Everybody kind of, because we all knew what Homegrown referred to.
April 1st, 1972, San Diego, California. A city in motion, methodically moving towards history's horizon.
Bill Hergon was the morning guy. He was Captain Billy at the time. I think it was 1972.
We started asking listeners for songs about San Diego. We said, you know, people write songs about New York, there are songs about San Francisco, they write songs about Chicago, but nobody writes about San Diego.
So we got a flood of tunes in, and they put together the first Homegrown album.
And we'll sell it to benefit the OB Free Clinic, you know, benefit their penicillin budget, which they probably needed.
The first Homegrown album actually charted on the Billboard charts because it had sold over 50,000 copies, which was pretty amazing for anybody.
Ron Jacob comes to me and he says, what are you doing with this song thing in the morning? He goes, why the hell would anybody send us a song? We're not offering any prize. And I said, what do you mean you're not offering any prize? These people had a chance to be heard on the radio, a chance to be on a record, a shot at fame. And Jacobs was like the shaft of light opened up and the angels started singing. And his eyes started rattling around in his head, he suddenly realized he had the world's greatest prize for free. It didn't cost him anything. And I'm telling you, the look on his face when he realized what he had, within 60 seconds, he worked out in his head exactly what the Homegrown promotion was going to be. Local people started, you know, writing songs and sending them in, and they were, you know, kind of okay little things. People on the piano or guitar, on a cassette. It was, you know, a friendly little thing. Oh, San Diego, I love you so much, kind of. You know. This little tiny project of, you know, write a song about San Diego suddenly became this big deal.
We sold those records for $1, and we made $60,000, and we gave all the money to the United Way.
That concept, again, was copied by other radio stations around the country.
One day we found a record, it was an actual record by a group called Rose and the Arrangements. It was the flip side of The Cockroach That Ate Cleveland, which I think was a song about Jerry Springer. You'd have to check that out. But the flip side of this record was Chula Vista.
Chula Vista, Chula Vista, boing.
Chula Vista, Chula Vista, Chula Vista, Chula Vista.
So there was this kid who had ambitions to be a rock and roll writer, to write for Rolling Stone magazine. He just kind of liked hanging out and being near the scene. His name was Cameron Crowe.
Ron Jacobs contacted Cameron and told him about the project that we were doing. We got Cameron's, you know, native San Diegan to write the liner notes for the first and then the second album. So it was a bit of a coup because he was already very well known because of Rolling Stone.
Is it still alive? People let me know, where is San Diego?
We had a long conversation about the people on the record and everything else, and I could hear him typing on his typewriter. He took notes on his typewriter in the background. And later on he came out with these liner notes, and I read them. I said, wow, it nailed it on the first take. He just got it absolutely right. It was an amazing guy that he actually got all of the stuff we talked about in our little conversation was actually in the liner notes for Homegrown 1.
When number 2 came around, I helped to select the songs and co-produce that record, and then all the other ones all the way through the run. Stephen Bishop, if you're not sure who he is, he's the guy in Animal House who's playing the folk tune during the party at the Delta House. And he's sitting on the stairs playing, I gave my love a diamond
That had no stone.
He's the guy, John Belushi, comes along, grabs his guitar and smashes it to bits on the stairs.
I give.
But anyway, Stephen had contributed a song for one of the Homegrown albums, and we just, for whatever reason, rejected it. We threw it into the box of battered and broken dreams. And that song turned out to be On and On, which went on to be a big hit single for Stephen Bishop. So this thing comes in, oh, it's from Bad Radio. Yeah, I can imagine. So I played it, and it was, you know, it was okay, but the quality wasn't what I was looking for, so I pitched it. I said, no, I'm not going to play that. Well, I found out that the singer in Bad Radio was Eddie Vedder. Now I wish I could find that, just to say I have it. Eddie, if you hear me, Eddie, send me a copy. But it was a great idea. People loved it. Songs about San Diego, and the records consistently sold 50, 60,000 copies, with the exception of Homegrown 84, where we changed the format. That's where it ended, because that was our stiff, Oh, that one bombed, can't do anymore. Then we had the Homegrown radio show, which grew out of that last Homegrown album. And that was a successful show for a long time.
The Homegrown Hour was tied into like the Homegrown album. It was an on-air feature where we would spotlight sometimes one band, sometimes 3 or 4 bands. I was doing a lot of club nights at the time, and so I knew all these bands. So I ended up hosting Homegrown like at least 5, maybe 6 years. I saw the good, bad, and the ugly. And bad radio, Eddie Vedder was in the band, and he was pushed out of the band because they didn't think he was a good singer. It was right before Eddie left for Seattle. I get a call from him. I'm talking to a distraught Eddie Vedder about his future. It'll be okay, Eddie. I know you're upset. I know you're mad. But, hang in there. Don't give up your dream. A couple of years later, Pearl Jam comes blasting out.
Normally, a radio station does not make its own news, but today we invite you, our KGB friends, to join with a few close associates, breaking ground for the new home of KGB,